Hey, Claudia St, President of Affinity HR Group. We are your HR partner and resource. So today I want to talk about probationary periods. I had a client call me recently asking what their requirements were if they wanted to terminate an employee who was still in the probationary period, what benefits they were eligible for. My question to him was, why do you even have a probationary period? Now, I know a lot of companies have them to sort of specify a period of time when you and the employee are trying to kind of get to know each other a little bit and make sure that it's a great fit for everybody. Also to qualify for certain benefits and privileges at work. That I understand that. But here's the thing, having a probationary period, a 60, 90-day probationary period, doesn't really make sense because in the United States, there's employment at will, which means that you have the right to fire an employee at any point in time for any reason, as long as the reason is not discriminatory. And the employee has the right to quit at any time. So why have a probationary period? Because if you have a probationary period, it can mean to the employee that you can fire me for any time until 90 days, and all of a sudden, what? You can fire me only for certain reasons? There have been instances where the courts have viewed the use of a probationary period as sort of a de facto contract, that it's at will within that 90-day period, but then after that, the way you've spelled it out with your probationary period, the threshold for firing that employee is higher, and therefore you're losing the benefit of employment at will. Our recommendations are not to have an employee probationary period at all. It serves very little purpose. What I would do is have a very formalized onboarding process, a way to give an employee a feedback and a development plan for them in the early weeks of their employment. And one thing we know is that 22% of all turnover happens within the first 45 days. So work closely with the employee during that time, assess them well during that time, pay attention to them and give them the resources and feedback that they need during that time. But do not have a special probationary period because it leaves the impression that the employee is going to be harder to fire later, when in fact that's a right that you both should maintain, the employee and the employer alike, that you work there at your own discretion and the employer can fire you at any point in time for any non-discriminatory reason, and you can quit for any reason. So my advice today, ditch the probationary period and move on with it. I hope you enjoy this minute, and I hope that you have a safe and productive work week. Take care.